Hey, everybody, and welcome to Monday night's edition of Paranormal Question of the Day. We'll be right back right after the short intro. And we are back. So I hope everybody's having a great Monday. We have Heather and Greg from Windigo Paranormal with us tonight.
Hello, hello.
Hi,
And
everybody.
so hope everybody's doing well. We're just waiting for people to come in to chat. Anyhow, so with that, thank you for joining us tonight on the Paranormal Question of the Day. Like I said, Tara might be joining us soon, depending on how her day is going. But other than that, what a weekend we had.
Yes. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, I loved it. My wife loved the building. I think she couldn't get enough of it. So
She said she knew about the building, so that was cool. So she got to go to one of the places she wanted to see. That was cool.
absolutely, yeah. We always go to the beach there during the summertime and just kind of hang out and stuff. And uh, and she's like, "Oh, I see that building." And it's like, "Do they really do ghost tours?" And I'm like, "I don't know." And so all of a sudden it's like when you brought it up, and it's like, she's like, "Yes, let's go." So there was no wasting time on that one.
Yes, we love collaborating with other teams, and we just thought, hey, let's just have like a kickback fun night, invite a bunch of people, and just see what happens.
Absolutely. So, well, we're still waiting for people to come in. So
Sure.
anyhow, let's I'll have you talk about the building. That way, when people start coming in, they'll hear what we're talking about.
Sure.
Just kind of explain what the Dead by Dawn is and what other businesses used to be in there and
Sure.
why it is haunted.
So it's called the Dead by Dawn building. It's in Manitowoc, Wisconsin. It's actually the oldest building in the downtown historical district, and the building is actually 172 years old. So it's an old one. Originally, it was built for a dentist, actually, a physician. I'm sorry. First started out with a physician. Dr. C.H. Colburn was his name back in the day. He was only there 2 years. Then it turned into a hardware store. So it was a hardware store on the bottom. And then I found an article that said they had boarding up on top. So I guess any way to make make a little bit of money. They actually called it the burner block back in the day. And then eventually it kind of turned back into like a medical building. We know that there was dentists that were there. I found pictures from like 1871 where there was like a dentist advertisement in the window upstairs, like kind of advertising people to come to the dentist. And we know back in 1871 was kind of that turn of the age where people were starting to actually take care of their teeth. And the
Mhm.
reason why is because they actually found pain care for when people had their teeth done. So that's kind of interesting back. And we know that it's around that 1870s that they were using cocaine,
Right.
weirdly enough, to give people for pain. So, and then eventually it was a furniture store once. Right before the 1900s, and we know if it was a furniture store, they were making caskets there. So I did find quite a few articles where dead were brought into the building, and shrouds were made and caskets were made. Then eventually it was back to a hardware store. It was a women's clothing store once, a bar once. I could go on and on. There were so many businesses in there, but I think that's why there's just a lot of activity there.
Okay. Is there any recorded deaths in the building?
There was an article that I found from the 1800s where, okay, so backtracking a little bit, we got you guys into the building next door to our building.
Yep.
And actually, it used to be a part of our building back in the 1800s, but over time it got split up, sold, not sure. But it was a time capsule upstairs. And so literally this building next door was sold probably 5 years ago. And they were looking at the roof, trying to figure out where the leaks were coming in. And the carpenter people were looking down and saw that there was a hidden staircase and all these rooms upstairs. that was boarded up and closed up. They didn't even know they had that square footage. So everything kind of opened up, and we were the first team to get in there. And I've been in there a couple times, and every time I've been in there, I've gotten EVPs, I've heard things. One of the times we saw like a shadow person kind of go like down the hallway in front of us. And we were like, whoa, what was that?
Hmm.
But yeah, it was really cool. But there was a theft where they used that building next door and they went into our building in the basement. So, I mean, just really fun articles like that.
Right, right. So we got Carmen, we got Marsha, we got Amy, we have Heidi, and Tori has joined us today. So, um, oh, Tori says she'll be right back. So, yeah, and the hauntings is really spread out. I mean, it was a haunted attraction for 20 years, correct?
No,
Okay.
actually, the people that own the building, they actually had a haunted house at St. Nazian's at the JFK Prep Tour place. I mean,
Okay.
all of us paranormal people know that place. But they actually had a haunted house there for 20 years and a few other places. I
Okay.
think Manitowoc and
Mhm.
somewhere else. So a lot of the props from the haunted houses you will see at the Dead by Dawn location.
Hey, Scott. So, okay, and then also you guys are included in the Wendigo Fest, correct?
Correct. So we are the official paranormal team for Wendigo Fest. Every year we do a presentation, actually, lots of presentations. And we just like to take people to the places that we go to. We are a big team, so we do travel a lot. There's really not a month that goes by that we don't travel out of state. And we do that just for our own fun self because, doing tours is great to get the public involved with paranormal, but, we like to be do it for ourselves too. So we like to kind of check out all the places across the US.
Plus the
Absolutely.
EVPs that we get and stuff are amazing.
Yeah. I've noticed a difference in when I started with recorders and I moved up the scales to different recorders, that how clear they have become. Um, the one I have is the Philips, and that is so clear. I can't believe how clear it is over the Tascam I have.
Awesome.
So, hey, Tom. Uh, so how long have you guys been investigating the paranormal for?
So I've been doing it for 24 years. Initially when I started, I was like most people checking out like abandoned places or taking pictures of like cool buildings on the side of the road. And then eventually it just got to be where I finally chose a team and then kind of branched off and started my own team. So my husband joined us probably 6, 7 years ago, maybe.
Okay.
And mostly just to carry my equipment at first. Because I have a lot of stuff, so it gets very heavy, so
Oh yeah, gotta have
eventually
someone to do
just,
that.
yeah, right. So I need to like run my team, and so it kind of just worked out a great way for him to like worry about the equipment. He asked me where I want stuff, what do I want him to bring out, and then I can just kind of manage everything because I seem to be the one that's doing a lot.
Mhm.
So it works out well.
I need to get me one of those. Hey, you, go grab my stuff.
Yes, I know. I do like to do that.
Half the time I know where everything's going anyways. I have a set system, so
Mhm.
and it's a
That's
lot
a
of
good
fun.
thing,
I
man.
mean, to keep going to all the new places like we were at the RAR,
Yeah, the RAR West
the RAR
Museum.
West. That was pretty interesting place down there.
Actually, I remember her talking about that. I was asking, how do I get in there? That place looks
I'm
pretty
like,
cool.
dude, it took me 5 years to get us in there. Slow your roll, I was thinking.
Yep, yep. I'm like, yeah, we are a new team. We have to take a step back a little bit, so but yeah, that's a cool location. And you've also investigated a historical museum over here in Oshkosh as well.
Yeah, the Winnebago County Historical and Archaeological Society, where we are their resident ghost team. I have been for probably 6 years. I've investigated that place quite often too. We do tours there a couple times a year. And
Mhm.
really, the main focus for us is to get people into those historical societies, which we feel is like a dying breed. So
Yeah.
we bring people through to kind of experience all the cool paranormal and different stuff, and then we ask them bring your families back during the day and we got to keep the lights on in these places. So it's kind of
Mhm.
our way to give back. So
Absolutely. I was actually just looking at the new moon today, uh, looking at see if getting into there and investigate that place. Um,
New Moon, where is that?
that
Oh,
is
that's that cafe.
yeah, that cafe.
Yes.
I seen that. I was looking at the times. Like he closes up some days at 5, 7, 9 o'clock, but then he
Okay.
opens up pretty early, like 6:30, 8 o'clock in the morning. So I'm like, I think the only time and the way how the building is structured, I think 6 hours is more enough time for that location because it's not so big.
Sure.
How many floors is it?
I'm not quite sure. Well, I want to say there's 2 floors above it,
Okay.
but I'm not sure how much of that is available. I haven't quite talked to him yet, so I'm leaning that way, but I'm trying to figure out the approach to go with it. So, without
Well,
sounding weird.
you could let me give it a stab because apparently I'm the one that gets us into all the fun places. So let me know if you need some help with that.
Absolutely, absolutely. I just my wife is like, "Hey, I'm gonna go talk to this guy, see if he can get us in." He goes, "Well, how are you gonna go about it?" I said, "I don't know, just start casual."
We have lots of letters of recommendations from lots and lots of places, so that does seem to help. But yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. Some people just want to know if their building's haunted.
Right.
Right, right, absolutely. So, let's see. So let's go ahead and start as to what you have catched that night on Saturday and the spots that you went to.
So let's see what we actually didn't get to investigate like the rest of the teams did. A lot of the spots were kind of we let you guys take over. Like, we just wanted to make sure you guys were all good and there was floors between everybody so there wasn't contamination of
Mhm.
evidence. So kind of the way we started the night was we lost one of our investigators in September. So we have been, slowly waiting. And we know it's a little early to do this, but we really wanted to talk to our investigator, Kristen, who
Mhm.
we lost. So most of the people on my team are mediums. And as I was telling Darren on Saturday night, I have a strict rule for my team. I know that they're all mediums, but they're not allowed to open when we are investigating. I always tell people that our goal is to scientifically prove the existence of a haunting using, paranormal equipment versus beaming up and getting an answer from above. So we never open on investigations unless it's a fun night and then we can do whatever we want, like we're at our home base. So we did a lot of we started the night doing something called automatic writing.
Yep.
And that's basically where you kind of get into a meditative state and you call for whoever you're wanting to speak to, and you just write down what you get. So, because I'm very quick with connecting, I just was inviting whoever wanted to give me a message, not necessarily just Kristen, but I was just writing down what I needed to. Well, everything that I wrote down did come true, even to the point where Mike got scratched. I wrote that down. I wrote down I kept writing the word door down, and then I wrote fall and then danger. And on in the basement floor, the room going into that little kitchenette,
Mhm.
the trim came off and literally almost hit me and fell down right behind me.
Oh, jeez.
And I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Like everything I wrote down came true. So that was pretty fun. But some of my team has never done that, so it was kind of interesting to see them kind of get their feet wet and try it.
Yeah, most definitely. Next time when you want to do that, I have to get into that because
Yes.
I've never seen automatic writing being done in front of me.
Yeah.
It was just more of the seance that we did. They spoke with candles and all that stuff, and nothing was really being written down. It's just I feel like, hey, I felt this. This is what's going on here. This so and so is here. Um, that sort of thing. So automatic writing is a very unique style of things that I definitely want to see. So
Yes, definitely. You will have to try it next time.
absolutely.
I think your wife would be great at that too.
Hey, Bill. Oh yeah, I think she'd like doing that. We got her to do the Estes method later on in the night. Um, so that was a lot of fun. Let's catch up with comments here.
Sure.
Can you see the comments okay on your end?
No, they're like super small and I'm super blind. So you go ahead and read them.
You're just like me.
Yes, yes.
It looks like a heartbeat line going across.
Yeah, we can't see anything.
Yeah, we got Tom in here. We got Marcia in here. Tori and Tom are talking back and forth. Marcia's saying yes to everything that I'm saying. Ah, funny. Thank you. Yeah, Marcia says they hated you. So, Jamie Linson, do you or should you be sensitive if you do writing? Is what Jamie Lynn is asking.
Yeah, so you don't, it's not a prerequisite. You don't have to be a sensitive or a medium to automatic write. If you can just quiet your mind and open your mind up to the possibility of that something will come through you and be able to write, that's all that it takes. So I think every single person has the ability to do mediumship and readings and automatic writing. You just have to be open to the process.
Right, right. So what did your rest of your team? What did they all encounter that night? That was going on in different locations. So was one room more heavier than the other, or is it just the same effect for each of your team members?
I actually was next door with Badgerland for their first time when we first went up there, and it was really quiet. We got a few responses off the Wonder Box, and then I went back out and sat in the, I guess you want to call it that little desk there
Mhm.
where your wife was sitting.
Yep.
And the room straight across from there, I was just sitting, and all of a sudden you could hear something go knock knock. I'm like, I'm looking around the corner. I'm like,
Hey,
come
Tom.
on, I don't see you. But that was plain as day.
Yeah, I mean it's a very interesting building, and that's the real estate building, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, and
I
that.
never understood why there's so many rooms.
Mhm.
It was a boarding house at one time.
Okay.
When we find the articles from the 1800s where we think we're getting our location, it's actually that part too was part of
Right.
our building.
All right.
So,
I never
maybe
heard
that's why we're back in there. It's supposed to be this way. I think
Right.
the hottest room for us was the seance room.
Yep.
I
Yeah, that
think
was
we had the best responses. Somebody, I mean, just I think everybody that went in there got either touched, their chair kicked. You know, it was awesome. It's always awesome in that room. That is the best room in the whole place.
and the vibe changes as soon as you go through that threshold of that door. It changes completely, like
Mhm.
still.
Yeah.
I've
And
seen it some nights where it got so black in there, it's like you could hardly see anybody sitting
Mhm.
across from you. So it's
Yeah, we've seen shadow people on the wall in there. We've had, I always tell the story. We were taking on new team members a while back, and I am of the belief, I want to see what people are made of. And I do this because I remember this girl that we brought on the team, and she was sidling up to all the men on the team because she was scared. It was like when the lights went dark, she got scared, and I was like, "Sweetheart, we work in the dark. Like, you're not cut out for this." So that's primarily why I make people kind of, just push them in the deep end and make them investigate with me. So we brought our newbies into the seance room, and it was going really well. And, everyone was like, I was very impressed with everybody. But then before you knew it, Dawson on my team, he was reluctant to tell us, but he's like, something's weird on my stomach. So I'm like, do you mind lifting your shirt up? Let's take a look. Grab my camera. He had a bite mark on his stomach. And then we go to another girl, and she had scratches up her back. So I had her kind of lift her arm back to just make sure like she couldn't have done that. And there was no way she could have done that. Then he had stitches on his finger, and all of a sudden something flicked his finger, and he was like screaming in pain because there was like fresh stitches. And then another girl had scratches. This all happened within like 5 minutes of each other. So much like, what is happening in here?
it was like it made a big U shape.
Yeah, it was
Right.
really weird.
We all heard. I don't remember when was that when we saw the figure go across the ceiling.
Oh, how many times? Yeah. So I mean, that room can be hit or miss, but it's almost always amazing.
That's what Kimberly Johnson was talking about the seance room.
Yeah.
So, and it's they're right. I mean, it's crazy. Just a real quick note before I forget. When me and Marsha were in the real estate room or the building, when I had her do the Estes method, it kept on wanting me to leave,
No.
specifically me. I don't know how many times it told me to get out and leave, and then it went by first name, and it called me out by my first name.
Ooh. Ooh.
So
Somebody was like, "Get out, Darren. We want Marsha to ourselves."
exactly. So that was weird, and it was weird when she said my name. It was weird. It's like, why did you say your name? You know?
Yeah, it's like eerie.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's rough. Yeah, we still don't really, I mean, to be honest, we still really don't know what's going on at the real estate office. I've been there a couple times. I will say that the basement, I've been in their basement. We didn't get to go there on Saturday, but I've been in the basement. And let me tell you, that is probably my favorite spot of the whole building. It is wicked active. We had like full sentences.
Mhm.
Um, it was wonderful.
So Bill has a question here.
Sure.
So why is it, it's an old question, but so why is it does every paranormal team feel that they have to investigate in the dark? Why don't we investigate in the daylight? Because and with him, his building is more active during the daytime than it is during the nighttime, I think.
Sure. So
So
I have two theories on that. Really, you don't have to investigate at night. Typically, teams like to do that because that's when it's the quietest.
right.
Of course, all the paranormal shows that you watch on TV, they do it at night just for the ambiance. I mean, they're selling us a product, so it's got to be kind of creepy. But we've done tons of stuff during the day. Back in probably 5 years ago, we did a bar crawl in Manitowoc. So we had to investigate 5 different haunted old buildings.
Hmm.
All of them were done almost at 8 o'clock in the morning, all of them, because that was the only time we could get in.
The place that
Right.
we ate at, we did that at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yep. So it's really, I mean, most
Uh,
investigators don't want to get up that early, but
See, hey, I would investigate all day if I could, but
yeah.
I mean, it also depends on the building too. Um, it to me, we did the museum for the first ever daytime investigation that they ever had,
Okay.
and that was interesting. We got some stuff a lot more during the daytime than we did at nighttime.
Sure.
So, so it all depends on the spirits and how alive they want to be during the daytime.
I've heard different investigators say some locations are more active during the day because that's when the people that were in that location, that's when they were more active. So that's what
Hmm.
they do in the afterlife. And I think it's a great theory. I haven't been able to prove it, but it's possible.
Absolutely. So Kimberly was saying that when we were over there, Andy asked if they were comfortable with a man being there, and she's talking about the real estate building. And let's see, trying to finish the rest of the sentence here. And the answer was definitely a strong no. So they,
Ooh, so not
yeah,
just you, Darren.
yeah. And that's the thing. I mean, it's when Mike and Chris went over there, that was at the point where I was like, because we were just coming back, and I'm like, it'd be interesting to see what two males are in the building, like, and how it would affect it. Because yeah, it's different, and we couldn't even decide on a spot really where to go because there's so many different rooms, like you said, in that
I
building. Why
know.
are so many rooms?
It's like
So we
corridor after corridor.
right, and it's tricky to walk in there because you got broken glass, you got wood all over the place, and some of the ceilings coming down a little bit. So it's a real tricky of a building where you want to set up. So we ended up
Yes.
going right off the steps where you came in. I figured,
Sure.
well, she saw a desk, so that was the only place to sit. So that's where we set up.
But I think that's a great idea. We absolutely have to do that next time. A team of men and a team of women, and just see what the difference is. See if we get better evidence or if you guys do.
Hmm. Absolutely. And what Jamie Lynn is saying is that people also believe in the dark, you sense your senses are heightened more, your ears and eyes and all that stuff she was saying. So,
Absolutely.
and I agree with that.
Yeah,
with
me too.
me,
100%.
and with me being blind in one eye, my senses are already heightened already because I'm using my ears and I'm using my senses of what's around. And
Yeah.
and Marshall's getting you know uh, uh, phantom smells of cigar and stuff like that. So
Which would make sense because that we know that in our building, there was actually a cigar shop at one time because we know that when the current owners were doing some remodeling and maintenance, they took down the ceiling that was falling down, basically had to be replaced. And
mhm.
in the ceiling was hundreds of cigar receipts from back in the 1800s where they used to go to Chicago to buy the cigars. And then for some reason, they threw the receipts in the ceiling. I don't know.
Insulation.
that's
Yeah,
kind of weird.
insulation,
Back in the day, it's insulation, just like they put the paper in the walls.
maybe.
And the thing too is that me and Marshall are talking about the real estate building. Is like, do you think there might be a little bit of lead paint in there at all?
Oh, I bet you, I would guarantee there's asbestos and lead paint and mold and bugs and you know what else.
Yeah.
That's our working quarters, I suppose.
Oh yeah. I mean
I
that's
do carry masks in our cases, but honestly, I can't remember the last time I even grabbed them out.
Back in 2020.
Yeah, yeah.
right,
What
right.
is going on, right?
So what Bill is saying is when they are with the lights on and all that stuff in his building, they seem to catch more shadow figures and all that stuff. Film like they are wanting to be seen. So and that's true. Sometimes they do want to be seen on film and sometimes they don't,
Yeah,
Um and that's the thing that we got to realize when we have like Spirit Talk will come on, it's saying camera. So it's noticing that we have our cameras on. And like, is it gonna take all the energy and cut that camera? Um, and with Bill's property, his location, cameras cut out all the time. So it's interesting.
so they need energy. Very
Absolutely.
cool.
Well, before we went to eat Saturday night, Andy took his recorder and set it up in the seance room,
Camcorder.
or his camcorder it was, and he
Mhm.
marked it with tape on each of the stands feet. And when we came back, it was moved at least a good inch and a half back, away from the tape.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you don't see that too often either.
No,
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what happens when he reviews the evidence. What was it?
Hopefully he sees it, and hopefully they didn't just gradually, slowly moved it where he wouldn't see it.
Mhm.
He should be able to catch something, but we know that there's no animals ever allowed on the lower half. So we know for sure it's not going to be like one of the house cats.
Right. Right. And that's the other thing too is that for those of you like they said, it's like we have to have certain amount of doors shut so the cats don't go into those areas. 5 cats, right? They have?
I don't even know, but it's one of the main rules when you go to that building is you have to just be so diligent. Like you walk through your door, just shut it. Just even if you don't know, just shut it.
Right, absolutely. Um, so let's see. Me and Marsha started off in the upstairs part. So
Yep.
there's a living room, and then there's a bar area, and then kind of like a walkway between the bar and the living room. Sorry, in the back. So we started off there. I think we did about 30 minutes in there, maybe 35 minutes, and just to start. And it's like we were hearing knocks here, knocks there. Sometimes I think it was the wind because it was windy outside, so I think there's might be something on the building that could create a knock, some sort. Um, and then yeah, with Spirit Talker being on, I had a laser grid on. Mentioned, don't get the GS1 laser grid. That thing's junk. Um, but having a recorder and then I had that mag light to play the flashlight game. How often do you play the flashlight game?
So this is my spiel about the flashlight game. I've even gotten into quite the few debates with other investigators about the flashlight. The flashlight is absolutely a gimmick. It is absolutely, could it be the kind of conductivity, expanding when it gets hot and cold? We don't know. However, I will tell you this. I was at a school, a haunted school once, and we had the flashlight set up. I mean, we had tons of stuff, but
Mhm.
somebody had set up the flashlights. The flashlights were, ready to go, but they were on dark for 45 minutes that we were up in this attic space. Never ever turned on until we eventually said, hey, you know what? Nobody's even touched the flashlights. Hey, if you want to play with them, please turn them on. Instantly turned it on. So from that point on, that was probably 10 plus years ago, I have said I will always believe in the flashlight method if you can debunk, like the first couple of minutes worth. I mean,
Mhm.
I think the first couple of minutes where it's going to be that conduction might be happening, you might have to dismiss that. But if
Yeah,
after a long period of time they don't go off and then you directly tell it to go on, turn off, turn on, turn off, I mean, that's something that's paranormal.
absolutely. And, so in the living room, the flashlight did not go off, but like I said, she was, with the spirit talker and the mediums that are in chat when I was doing a live, they're saying, "Yeah, there's an Albert there, there's a Sarah there, there's a couple other spirits in the room, and they're hiding out in the corner." So I'm like, "Oh, why don't you take the K2 and just go hang out in the corner and see if you can get something?" And sure enough, when she got back in that corner, and we're talking against along the side with all the big windows way in the back by where the bathroom is, um, that K2 stayed at a solid 3 lights.
Wow.
And the more she walked away, the less it got, the more she went back, the more it went back to the same amount of lights.
Sure.
So, that's kinda interesting how that one spot,
Yes.
was
And
played
I
out
know
to be.
exactly where you're talking about. And there's really just a bookcase on the wall
Yeah.
and a table. And that's it.
That's it.
I mean, there's nothing that's, there's no electricity running in the floor, just trying to help you guys debunk it. That I know. So,
Yeah. So, that was pretty cool. Bill was mentioning his, because he's got a lot of kid spirits at his school, sorry. They like the flashlight game, and they answer it yes and no all the time there, so that's a really good thing that when you go to the Broadhead, is bring your flashlight and play the flashlight game.
best piece of equipment
Absolutely.
and our
Um,
cheapest.
oh, yeah, I mean, well, the mag lights, I think I paid $20 for that one, but they go
Okay.
more
Yeah.
expensive.
Do they still even sell them?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, yeah, you gotta go to Amazon, and the
Yep.
mag
That's where I
lights are
got
the ones
mine.
that you gotta turn the head or to turn the light on, not a push
Yep.
button. I always, would take, like, the push button ones and make it harder and say, "Hey, push that button to get that light to come on." Prove me wrong, but it just seemed like I was pushing it just a little too hard with the spirits because it's hard enough to get them to muster for energy as it is.
Absolutely.
So, I know I turn the light even further than when you normally do to know it's off, and
Good.
it's still turned it on after so long. So, it was interesting.
I find the MIG lights that are like the length of your hand ish, like
Mhm.
whatever that is, that size is on Amazon. That's the best of the MIG lights to use for
Them,
some reason.
them are the mini mags.
Yeah,
No,
they
those
got some big
they have many. They have
Right,
it's
but
even
that's what they
smaller.
call those.
Oh, that's what they do. Okay.
That's what they call that one.
just catching up with comments here. Okay. Yeah, above her. Okay, Midwest, Night, Watcher says hi, and Bill says, "I am a total skeptic for every, amount of evidence in my building." Yep, and
Even
a lot.
still, that's amazing.
Oh, yeah, I mean, with the spirit talker, he has a list of all these names that come up. I hand him, like, probably 4 or 5 lists of all these names and everything that came up, and it's like, a lot of those names he recognized,
Oh wow.
and then some of those things were maybe not so recognized, but a lot of the Spirit Talker, what I've noticed using that app, even though it's a $4 app, and I know a lot of people say a lot of things about apps, like, "Oh, apps are shit," and this and that, and it's like, this app, let me tell you, has been on key for every location I've been to. It has not gone wrong. So, I believe in the app so much.
Well, I would say to Bill, have you ever had a personal experience at your school? I at the end of the day, I love skeptics because I love to play evidence for them and say, okay, so we got this guy's voice or this
Yes, it
child's
has, he
voice?
said.
Oh, he has?
Yep.
Well, cool. And he's still skeptical. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
He's stubborn.
Dawn wasn't a firm believer till
Actually, the building, our home base, Dead by Dawn, one of the owners, Dawn, and her husband Jim. Dawn was a skeptic for a gazillion years, up until
the Fat
probably about 2 years ago, maybe.
Seagull. Yeah, and the Fat Seagull.
Yeah, that's true. She bought a couch at an estate sale, and it's actually in the store, in her oddities store, the Mad Hatter. And all of a sudden, she was downstairs, just couldn't sleep. She's on her, computer playing a card game, and she messages me at 2:30 in the morning, and she's like, "Holy blank blank! I just saw the couch lady. She saw a woman walk from the couch, just like she was real, and walk right into a wall and walk, like, disappear." And she racked her brain for the longest time trying to, like, figure out what in the heck did I see.
Yeah, I mean, it's just once you see something, it's like, what the hell,
Yeah, you second guess it, right?
Yeah, you always
Yeah.
second guess it. I see stuff like when I was in the basement and where I was sitting on the couch and where the room is where the embalming table is.
Yeah.
I tell her, it's like I keep something running back and forth in that room. The light's on, but I feel like keep on seeing something going back and forth in that room all the time. It was so weird.
That's awesome.
So
What's amazing with all this pieces of everything she's got in the building, there's so much
energy
there.
And most of it's all real stuff. I mean, that embalming table that you're speaking of came from a real funeral home. I mean, it was in service up until probably less than 5 years ago. I can't remember exactly when she got it, but I remember it was 5 years or less, and it was in service. So we might have froze. Let's just see here.
There you
go. Oh, there we go. We lost him.
Yep. We did. I think he did.
We'll just wait for him to join us. It's his show. He's got to come back.
Yeah, it's
Darren, where are you?
I saw him make the last move, and then he's.
It just like he froze. His camera froze, or his internet shut down.
Here, quick a drink, quick. Are we still live?
We don't know.
If we're still live, we're having technical difficulties. We lost Darren.
Hang on with us, everyone. Let's see if I can turn on this chat button and see everybody's chat. Oh, man.
No, you probably shouldn't.
Yeah, hold on, guys. Okay. We'll give it another minute here, and then I'll leave it, and we'll try and Hello, Darren.
Comments are still coming in, right? They're going across the top.
No, I don't know. No, that just says welcome to the MGS Paranormal. All right, so give it a couple seconds, and then we'll just pop out of here and see what we have going on. Okay. Okay. Let's see. comments. Let's see. Hi, Vicky. Hi, Andy. Darren's rebooting our server. Got it. So we'll just hang out in here. Hang out with us, guys. Darren's rebooting the server. We don't know what's going on, so hang out with us. Let's see if we can go back to comments here. Awesome chat. Can't wait to meet you, Bill. Also, we can't wait to meet you too. We can't wait to get to Broadhead. It's one of the places we haven't been to yet.
Are you live?
I believe I am. All right. Let's see here. You want to open this up, Levy? Pull to that way, and I'll pull this way. There we go. Okay.
Good.
I don't know. We'll see. Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. Let's check comments here. Most of what I got from that night was in the seance room. No scratches, though. Nope, not that night. Oh, if you want to go live stream on their Facebook, you can see the comments on your phone. Go to MGS Paranormal. Thanks, Tori. Hi, Vicky. Yes, the spirit's messing with Darren's Wi-Fi.
All right.
Oh, hi.
So my Wi-Fi decided to take a shit on me.
Well, we were wondering. We're like, well, we'll just keep talking for a minute.
Yeah, I was trying to message you real quick to say, hey, what happened and stuff. And then my wife's like, what happened? What happened? I was like, I don't know. The Wi-Fi took a shit. So sorry, folks, for that little short delay, and hopefully it does not go out again. I gotta figure out where I was, where I was with questions and stuff.
Yeah.
So what? Where did we leave off on? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm not even sure, Darren.
We were talking to Bill
Oh yeah, him being a skeptic, I feel
Yep.
like.
about if he's a believer or not.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm getting close. I think I've. Oh my god, this is so bad.
Darn Wi-Fi.
Yeah, this is like the first time it's ever have done this to me in a long time. It's like I missed a lot of questions. Holy crap. But let's see here if I can start off leave off. So we were talking about the flashlight game and the believer and all that stuff. And hi Lori. So there it goes. Okay, so she was talking about Marsha was talking about Spirit Talker has intelligent responses. It does. And then Bill was saying more than ever for his being skeptical with this building. I think that's what we were talking about.
Yeah.
Him being skeptical a lot with this building after for so many years being there, and all the evidence that and data that people have shown him.
Sure.
Hi, Lori. Lori says she loves that app.
And we love Lori for taking care of all of Ed's stuff. 'Cause
Absolutely.
She knows I love Ed.
So Tori says that she sees a lot of people using Ghost Tube Vox. So that's a different kind of communication app that is kind of like Necrophonics in a way.
Okay.
So to answer that question, Ghost Tube alone by itself is okay. I've tried the Vox. It's the same thing with the noise, like the pink noise and the white noise. Again, I get sick listening to it.
Yeah.
And to me, it's a little more difficult, but I digress. But I mean, if it works for you, that's the thing. Each app works different for each person.
True.
So if it works for you, just keep going with it.
Yeah.
And there's no right or wrong way of investigating.
Nope.
And I think that we all are searching for the same thing. And so here's one for you. So if you catch or I should say, what is the holy grail the paranormal to you guys?
Mm. I mean, obviously, everybody wants to get a full body apparition, especially on camera. For me, I think that would be the holy grail. We've caught in shadow people lots of times on camera. And every time we do, we are geeking out. We are
Mm-hmm.
wahooing. We are like cheering. It is like the best thing in the world. I mean, I'm still excited about even like the little stuff, like even a knock on the wall, a direct response, during an EVP session. I just love it all.
Right. I don't think that even if I even caught the Holy Grail of paranormal, which I still don't know what the Holy Grail of it is for me, I would not stop investigating. I would make me go even much more harder.
Yes.
I think it was last week, wasn't it? I woke up 2-3 o'clock in the morning. I was dead asleep, and I woke up, and there was a full body right at the corner of our bed, all black, and then all of a sudden just walked out the door. I'm like, all right, I'm going back to sleep. Thanks.
Yeah, and
Which
that's
is
the thing.
not unusual for us.
Right,
Which
right.
is kind of funny because you asked the question, who was in our bedroom the other night, and it came back and said Aunt Mary. Okay.
It's possible he does have an Aunt Mary.
Yeah. And it is a thing too. It's like when you're sleeping, you wake up from a dead sleep. There is always that belief that something's standing there watching you, and that's why you get up.
Yeah.
So so Marcia said that, and this is kind of funny that she brings this up about the old man in our first house we had. She did not say anything to me until 2 years after we got into our new house.
You would have been like, why did we even move then?
Well, yeah. I mean, we had a split driveway, so that's why number one reason why I moved. But I always felt that the one room in our upstairs bedroom was something there, watching us, even when we're outside in the backyard. I always looked up in that room when I was cooking because I thought something was watching me. Even walking, like I was doing some work in the room, and I was going into the L shape of our closet. Again, I felt something was watching me doing what I was doing. So that makes all the sense now when she brings that out 2 years after we left. I'm like, you should have
But you
told me
haven't
right
had
away.
anything happen at your house now?
The only thing that's happened in our house now have been 2 orbs, which, and they were distinctive orbs. They were white, real big, white. They were in front of my screen here where it just kind of bounced up like this and just kind of right off on its way, I seen a blue orb in her old apartment that someone committed suicide by hanging themselves. Maybe another orb somewhere else, but that's it. I've only seen 3 big orbs in my life.
Okay.
So I think that they're far and a few between before when you see one. And my always question is, okay, if you see one, and if you see 2 in the same room and they mix colors, what would you get and what would happen?
Interesting.
Tell them about the story in Manitowoc at the lady's house that we did the afterlife.
Not frozen.
Oh, are we frozen?
No. Yeah,
Oh.
she was saying we're frozen. Now we're not frozen.
Oh, okay, sure. Oh, that's not an orb. That wasn't an orb, though.
Oh, I thought it was.
Oh, okay. So we did this private for a lady in Manitowoc. And the reason why we went there is because she had cameras all over the house, just those Walmart cameras. I forget what they're even called, but they're like very minimal money, like $25, $30 a piece. But the cameras would catch the best images. She got apparitions, shadow people. I mean, really if you were a normal person, some scary pictures. So she was kind of scared. So we did an investigation at her place, and we thought we were getting another stab at it to go back. But then she rescheduled, and we're like, oh, we can't fit you in now for forever. But we look forward to going back there, if she invites us. So.
Okay, so yeah, I mean it's very interesting what people see and what comes out of it. And sorry, I was just going through questions and stuff and still trying to
Sure, no worries.
I'm all behind. That thing screwed me up. So let's let's see, trying to get the questions. Penny says hi. Spirit is messing with me. Yeah. Um, I used to have a doll that sat back behind me. Andy is in,
Hi,
and
Andy.
um,
Andy's one of my people.
yeah, he said late to the party. Vicky is in, saying hi to everybody.
Vicky is our historian, so hi, Vicky.
And then Tori. Let's see here. Yep. She's just talking about one of the streams streams on our Facebook. So just Bill is saying he's glad and Wayne to meet you guys.
Yes, we look forward to it too, Bill.
Okay, Bill said he can work with you on the pricing.
Wonderful. I'll message you when we're done.
Marcia says, "Love me some Bill."
Yes. I've only ever heard great things about his place, so we definitely have to check this place out.
So Heidi was saying that to come to Minnesota.
Ooh, we're in Minnesota.
Okay. And then Tori's doing some researching as we speak. She says, "I'm a nerd." Nah, researching is good. A lot of us use a lot of researching. When we need it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I mean, I'm not that good at researching, so that's a plus when you get someone to do that for you.
That's why we have our Vicky, and she's amazing at it. She has the skills to dig, and this woman has come up with great stuff. I mean, she's come up with information from the very first existence of a property, and I don't know how she does it, but we love it.
Yeah. I mean, just Tori was showing me all the stuff that she was going through just to like find a grave, going through like she writes books for the dead of the manors and stuff.
Yeah, we have one, so we love it.
So yeah, that's what she likes to do, and
I
that's
love
interesting
her
stuff.
Edinburgh book. Love it.
Yes.
I mean, it is literally a piece of art. So if there's ever like an addendum to the book, make sure that's available for us to add to our book.
100%.
Yeah. We brought it with us to Edinburgh just to like open it up and, call some people forward with their real names.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Fairly confident I can find the person who farted in 1885.
Our Vicky could probably figure it out.
That's funny. That is funny. And Tori says, "Thank you very much."
Yes.
So the others, let's see. Now, when we move from the upstairs, we end up going to the seance room. That was the next place that we went to. And like I said, the seance room is definitely a different thing. Even through the tour, it's like a wall you hit when you walk into that room. And it's set up in such a nice way. And it's an amazing room. That's all I can
Yes.
say. It's an amazing room.
Yes. It's very small, but it's quaint and comfortable and creepy.
Nice and quiet.
Quiet.
She's getting ready to release a new Melver Manor. So
Awesome.
it has pictures, she says.
Yay. I love it when you can see the
Sweet.
images of the people or old pictures from the location.
Mm-hmm.
Good job.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Bill, for joining us. Everybody loves you having on here in the chat, and glad you get to meet them sometime down the road. And I will see you in April, sir. Actually, you know what? You're going to be on the show one of these days. That's right. I forgot. I have to get back to you on that. My mind is all discombobulated.
It's because you still have a paranormal hangover.
Yes, I do. I do. I was tired all day today. So I will contact you, Bill, as to when I'm going to have you on so that we can promote your Paracon. So
Cool.
so the let's see here. Favorite spot. All right. See, I'm horrible at reading shit. Okay, yeah, Bill says message me. Yeah, I'll just message you. So the seance room, immediately we sat down. We turned the lights out, turned one of the red lights out, but I think it was behind where the door was. Um, and we had one of those out just to give it a little more of a darkened room. I got my cards out, see if they could read any of the cards that I like playing regular playing cards. I like those kind of tactics.
Yeah.
It's just it hasn't worked out just yet, so maybe I have to get the S box out and see if they can contact through that. Um, and then what else do we have? She was going through chat, and then all of a sudden, as the mediums were coming into the chat, it's like I started getting touched in my back. Like it all of a sudden got really cold, and I'm like, "This is the first I've ever had my back get that cold." And it's like now my legs and my calves were standing up. And I'm like, I never have my hair stand up at all, hardly on investigation. And I'm like, what is going on here? We got the cat balls out, tried to get them to play with the cat balls. Not one of them would go off. Um, and then I got up as trying to walk around a little bit, just kind of feel more of the room. And all of a sudden, this female spirit was in the room. Like she was demanding control of the room. And I'm like, well, you can't take control of my body because I ain't allowing it. So if you want to take energy, you have to take it from our devices. And so I think we were going back and forth with the discussion, and it just got weird. It just felt weird, and I've never got touched so much before. I took the cat balls off the shelf, put them on the floor, and the moment I came up, because I know there's like a feather on top of that shelf somewhere.
Hmm.
And the moment I came up, halfway up, like, something brushed across my eye,
Oh.
Oh
and
wow.
I'm like, "Okay, who just touched my eye?" Because I knew I was far enough away from that feather, so I knew it wasn't the feather, and then I started getting the cobweb effect, and right after that, then somebody came over and touched right below this eye, and then they started touching the back of my legs,
Wow.
and I'm like, "What is going on here?" It's like, and the app was saying about showgirl and something like that, and I'm like, "Well, what is this? You trying to give me a lap dancer or something?"
Oh Lord.
And Marshall got a kick out of that. It's like, "Yeah, yeah," you know? It's like, "You trying to get fresh with my husband?" It was so funny.
Oh,
That's
that's
funny
good.
you said that because Dawson had the had the SLS camera pointed at me when I was on the west wall,
Hmm.
and he goes, "You guys got to look at this. I think they're on Greg."
It looked like Greg was getting a lap dance.
Mhm. See, and there it is. It ties in with what was going on with us.
Yes. But
And,
this is at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Oh yeah, it was late in the morning, so I got
it was ready for you.
Yeah, she's working late that night.
yeah.
Well, exactly. I just wonder if we leave a dollar bill in there once, see what happens, if it goes
Hey,
missing.
yeah. Money is money, even to the paranormal.
Right, and Marsha was saying here, it's like we all got affected, very physically,
Yeah.
and, she had her ear was ringing twice in her right ear or left ear, I'm sorry, and she couldn't figure out why that was ringing in her left ear. And then by the time we left, um, she was having a panic attack, and she got sick in her stomach.
Too much paranormal activity. Well, I've heard so many mediums say they will get like their ears like full of like water or something. Like they'll
Mhm.
get that weirdness in their ear, and it's a sign of spirit activity or spirit communication happening.
Right, right, and even the mediums on the live are saying like that these spirits are going in and out so quickly that it was just crazy. Um,
Well, they were hugging you a lot.
yeah, they were. It's like, what the heck? So yeah, that's when she started feeling sick, I said, okay, it's time to wrap it up because
Yeah,
I
too
don't need
much.
her to get sick, and I should probably took her outside to get some fresh air at some
Sure.
point.
Get her
But
grounded.
exactly. Um, so yeah, that was pretty crazy. And I definitely want to get back into that room again to see what happens because I think my personality changed a little bit in that room, and I don't know. I think me and her were having an argument, the lady spirit for control. Like she's like, know your role. Uh, and Marcia says, I'm tough. And yeah, it was like, know your role. I was like, I know my role. She was trying to keep the spirits down from talking. And I'm like, they're clearly asking for us for help on the app twice in a row. Now that's the first time I heard them say, help us 2 times in a row on the app.
Cool.
So yeah, that was different.
You said something before that poses a great theory, and it's one of the questions I usually ask on an investigation, no matter where we're at, is can you see us? I mean, I think it's still a theory that is yet to be proven. I mean, we've gotten, I suppose responses, but when you mentioned putting the playing cards out there, that's a great tactic. Can they see it?
Mhm. And
So that's very cool.
the other thing too, and I learned this from a friend named John Black, is what they used to do is get a notebook and write names on it and see if they can say the name that's in the book.
Oh, great idea. Yeah, excellent.
So, and in a form that's also the same as automatic writing in a way, but in a different kind of in a
Sure.
downward
Yeah.
scale. So, but yeah, that was really interesting. And then from there, that's the part where I think he's like, well, let's go to the real estate building. So we went and did that. Then you guys ordered pizza. I heard you saying talking about ordering pizza before we left.
Yeah.
But say me and her, we weren't even hungry at that point, and it's like, oh well, they're just gonna get pizza. That's okay. We're gonna go investigate. And next thing you know, we're up there walking around. I think we were going in circles like 3 or 4 times before we decided to stay where we were gonna stay for the Estes method, because that's the one of the main things I wanted to get done was the Estes method in that building. And because that's all we did. Um, and I went live with that, and that got weird. It wanted to get violent with me at one point, which is weird. I'm like, well, I'm not gonna get violent with you, so don't get violent with me, you know. Um, so and one of the mediums did say that there was uh a bit of violence in that part of the building.
Okay.
So maybe that's what it picked up on.
Well, that was during the time where we had ordered pizza. It finally came. Everybody was literally just getting their first slice of pizza, and somebody checked the chat and
Dawson.
it said send help. So immediately I was like, oh my God, Darren and Marsha, they need us. Maybe he fell. And literally, Greg, Mike, Dawson, Andy, Chris shot out the door to run and help you, and they ran in on your investigation, and you're like, what's going on?
I know, it was funny. You were standing there looking at us like,
Yeah.
what's going on?
Exactly.
Dawson misread it.
Yes, the door was locked. Somebody needed the door unlocked, and they didn't read the message before it. They just saw send help.
Yeah.
So it was like immediate panic. And then when we all got back, oh my God, did we laugh so hard about that? That was great.
Yeah, that was funny. I was like, oh, hello. I had the camera pointed to them. I think at one point, I'm like,
Sorry.
we're live. We're doing
I'm
the Estes
sorry.
method here. But
Too
no, that
funny.
was funny. I was like, oh, here, just give me the key.
Yeah. So funny.
Oh
Yeah.
man, but
You
I mean, it was
misread the text.
it was good. It was good though. But I mean, the Estes method was very successful. Like I said, it wanted me out. It wanted the building to her. Uh, calling by my first name, stuff like that.
That's
Um,
awesome. So
yeah,
we know, I mean, we always are trying to figure out which kind of spirit is at a location. Is it a poltergeist? Is it, an intelligent spirit? Is a residual? What is there? And you know that you ran into at least one intelligent spirit. They knew your name.
absolutely. I mean, it got wild. I mean, we had people in chat from the UK, which has never happened as much for me at all. So that was kind of interesting that I was getting UK people in there. And then I had someone from another country, I think, that came in.
Very cool.
So yeah, I was like, "Hey, what's your name and who you're investigating with?" So I gave the spiel of who we're investigating with and stuff. So they should contact you guys down the road too as well.
Yeah.
Um, so after that, yeah, like I said, we came back, had some pizza, and then the final thing that we were in the basement, and like I said, each location that we go to in each spot, you have to give it 20 minutes, 30 minutes of warm up time, because sometimes it may happen right away, and sometimes it won't.
Right. Right.
So, um, I had the balloon, I had the 3 cat balls, and I had the mag light. They're all sitting on the floor, all close to each other. Not once did the cat balls go off. So, and the uh, balloon, like I'm saying, hey, pop it, kick it, grab it, do whatever you want with it. That wasn't doing anything. So, and at that point, like I said before, I was like in the corner of my eye, I was seeing something go back and forth in that room with the embalming table in it, which drew me off. And then, um, and then all of a sudden, one of the guys in the chat says, "Hey, do you have a science guy? I think he was. Hey, do you have a plasma wall or something like that? Can you bring to help add for energy, like an EM pump type deal?"
Yep.
I'm like, "Yeah, I got a plasma wall. I can go get that." So I went and got that, but before all that happened, I think it was like 30 minutes in. It's like Marsha was on, we were like doing divide and conquer. I was on one couch and she was on the other side of the equipment on that couch. And she was getting super quiet. And I'm like, man, I think she's falling asleep over there. And next thing you know, that flashlight comes on because we were asking all night for her to turn that flashlight on. And all of a sudden it just turned on. And I'm
It
like,
wanted to do it on its own time.
yeah. And I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, that's the first time I've ever seen that happen. And then have it on live. I'm like, oh, this is good. You know? Um, and then after a while it came on and turned off again. And then we were asking it to turn on and go off once more time. And there it did. It came on and went off like real quick. So it got to come on and off 4 times each.
Very cool.
So yeah, that's something I told her. I said, that's something that's gonna stick in my mind for a long time, you
Yep.
know. And then after
Yeah, a
that,
lot of the props in the basement where that happened is all of our Wendigo Fest props. So, that basement looks like that 11 months out of, almost 12 months out of the year.
right, absolutely. So, but yeah, like I said, we thoroughly love the building. You guys are amazing to investigate with,
I'm so
um,
happy.
and it's just to learn about the history as we get to before investigate and do a tour helped a lot because by the end of the night, I knew exactly where I was going. So that was good. Um, So if you guys have not been to the Dead by Dawn building, you need to get there. It's a very, very cool building. You won't be disappointed. You'll definitely catch a lot of stuff. So
Yep, teams are able to rent the building out. Just contact us for pricing. But basically, we want to get her location on the map essentially for teams to come and enjoy because we just know what great evidence it produces and we want people to experience it. So, yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely.
Excuse me there. But yeah, like I said, fantastic. And the mezzanine. Now, what was the main thing about the mezzanine area?
So back when we found a picture, actually, a random person in Manitowoc brought an ad in for Dawn one time. We had never seen it before, and it was actually a black and white picture of when it was one of the stores. It was a storefront for like women's clothes, and we know that when it was a storefront for women's clothes, the mezzanine, which by the way means a floor between,
Mhm.
that was where all the offices were. And so back when they had the clothing store, the mezzanine was open where it looked down over all of the clothing store. Now it's been closed up, and I'm not sure when that happened. It happened before, they bought the building 25
Mhm.
years ago or more. But yeah, it's really cool to see that picture of like, whoa, this is how it used to be. But yeah, in the mezz, that's where all the offices were. And I'm not sure what it was before that.
Oh yeah. Krista, sorry. Rappel, she was saying it's great to investigate with you
Oh,
guys.
Christina, yes.
Yeah, sorry. I could not talk with a crap tonight. I
We got you.
apologize. This whole thing that went out I just went out. Thanks for coming in, Jamie Lynn. Appreciate it. See you in the next slide. But yeah, we just actually became friends on Facebook not too recently today.
Great.
So other than
Yep,
that,
Christina's one of my investigators. She's amazing. She's also a medium. She's just really intelligent, and we are so blessed to have her on our team. Her and Kimberly came in together, so it was like Kimberly's now the secretary of our team, and she has a more official title, but she is just amazing, and we are nothing without our team. So
100%.
we're just here to represent the rest of our team, but I certainly don't want to take all the credit for sure, because we're nothing without our team.
right? And it's the same here, with Marcia and Scott and Michelle. I mean, we click and things get working pretty well, and we clicked really well with you guys. It was a smooth transition.
Yes.
So, and that's the thing. That's key when you can have a smooth transition in a location that you've never been before.
Yeah.
Just think of all the other locations we can go to and how smooth that can go.
Of course, it's going to be great.
Absolutely. Chemistry is where it's all at when you're in the paranormal field.
And I knew when you and Marcia sat down, of course, you and I had spoke before, but I immediately loved your wife's energy, because immediately I check people's energy just to make, what am I getting myself into? And I'm like, okay, she's just like me. She's cool. She's open. I love this.
Yeah. And she loved all the stuff that you guys were talking about, and she knew some of the people. So, and
Yes.
that's great. I mean, that makes me feel comfortable when she's comfortable.
Yes.
And then the whole rest of the night could be comfortable,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah,
it just felt like one big family sitting down to eat.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's key. Like I said, that's key.
Yes.
So,
and it's not like that with all teams. It should be. It should be the normal, but you and I both know it's not. So, but I wish it was.
And I know I'm guilty sometimes, and that I open my mouth sometimes when I shouldn't, and say something stupid when I shouldn't have, and that, and a lot of times sometimes I find myself apologizing, and but that's just how it goes. Sometimes you got to work things out with each other, and
sure,
and I'm still learning, because this is first time of having extra people on my team besides my wife and I.
Sure.
So, and a lot of times she's like, "Hey, you forgot about this person, you forgot about that person," and it's just one of those things, like team dynamics. So,
hey, it's a learning process. I don't know. I've been doing this a long time, and I don't know everything. I just love to share the knowledge that I've learned. I love hearing other people's, theories on things, and I just have an open mind. I don't think anybody's theory is more right than mine, and I'm not one of those people that's like, it's got to be this way or no way. Like, I'm super flexible, but I have basically an underlying standard that I really adhere to, and that's typically the reason why people fall off the team, is they don't adhere to the standard. And at the end of the day, it's just about letting people explore the paranormal. That's what I'm all about. I just want to educate people.
absolutely.
It's really fun to join other teams and have them join us, because then we get to, you have this piece of equipment, and let's see how that one works, and everybody can see what everybody's got.
Right, exactly. It's like, oh, should it? This would be nice to be in my arsenal, but
yep,
you gotta save money, because this stuff ain't cheap when it comes to paranormal equipment. I mean, you got your K2s, which are pretty cheap, and your recorders can be pretty cheap as well. But when it gets to like ghost stop stuff, I mean, it starts getting up there in price.
Yeah, now we're to the last two things was $600 each. I think the last two things we bought. So, I mean, it's an investment. You have to invest into your case. And I tell that to my investigators. Not always will I share stuff out of our cases with my own investigators. And I do that primarily because I want people to invest in their own cases.
Right.
If they want to do this line of work, and they, want to go to all the big fun places, and you want that REM pod, you got to spend the money and do it. Sometimes. So, but yeah, I mean, typically we'll hand our SLS off, or.
Well, it's funny. You started with a backpack. Now we're 3 cases into this.
Oh,
I
that's the
don't gotta
thing.
carry none of it.
I mean, I still have my backpack, and then I got 3 cases, and now I have, like, 3 other cases, small little cases for cables and all that stuff, um, and that night, Saturday, she's like, "You know, this kid does this. He takes a separate backpack, and then whenever we go to the spot, he just puts all the stuff in that backpack and go, instead of going back to get you all the rest of the stuff." I'm like, "Yeah, I know, but I need my exercise sometimes, you know?"
Yeah, right.
I
I
can't
mean
remember where we were at, but good thing we brought extra batteries because like every piece of equipment I started using for like into 5 minutes, it just drained everything. I'm like, I just changed all the batteries in that.
Mhm.
I don't remember where that was at.
I know.
Yeah, those battery buddies are nice. I'm gonna have to get me a second one, I think.
Yeah. Amazon.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's amazing, for Christmas and stuff, she gets me stuff that I wasn't even thinking about. I'm like, "Oh, yeah, that makes sense," you know? So it's
She's buying it for herself because she knows she's gonna need it too.
oh,
We've
absolutely.
got this girl hooked. I love
Oh,
it.
so where can, people get a hold of you if they wanna get to talk to you
So
and stuff?
follow us on Facebook, Wendigo Paranormal. Instagram is the Wendigo Paranormal. And then, obviously just message us on one of our two, social media pages and we'll get you some help. Everything that we do is for free for privates. We do business and private homes. Everything we do is for free. We do tours at our home base at the Dead by Dawn location. Also, a couple different other places, historical societies we work with. So we do those a couple times a year. We are just next week going to be planning the rest of the year out for the Dead by Dawn location. So people can buy a ticket, come join us, and just check out our cool building and hopefully meet some of our house ghosties and have a good time with us. So we'll definitely post those on our pages.
Absolutely. And, so what's your next location you would be heading to next?
So let's see. So we were approached by one of the historical societies that we work with. The president of the historical society has written 5 books. He is working on his 6th book, and it is all about the paranormal, primarily in Winnebago County. So because I've been doing this so long, I've done tons of places and I have tons of stories. But I thought I need more stories. So the next stop we're going to be making is the Time Community Theater, which is a very cool vintage theater in Oshkosh. Very
Absolutely.
notorious haunting stories. So we're going there, and then for my birthday, we're heading to Michigan to a haunted hospital. For his birthday, we're heading to Malvern Manor, and we hope you guys can join us. And then, we take a little bit of time off in the summer to do some camping,
Yep.
but we are still always available for privates because not always do Greg and I do privates. We have such a large team that is so well balanced that I trust my team to help families out when we do get those private calls. So,
Yep, I haven't done a private yet, so that'll be interesting, but I also like to learn how other people do privates and stuff
sure.
and about their because I know it's so different from when you do a regular investigation because you have to keep the confidentiality of the location. So
Absolutely. Yes,
so
absolutely. A lot of businesses will respect that when you tell them that you respect their anonymity, that you won't release the information to the public, or maybe even that you're even there.
right,
That does help to get into some locations is making sure that that's known right off the bat.
right.
Just something to think about.
And sometimes those privates can go quite a long time before you can figure out what's actually going on in the building. It
Typically, they take multiple visits.
Right, right. And I know that a lot of people, when they watch TV shows and all this stuff, they think, "Oh, wow, they're gonna get this in one day." I'm like, "It's not the case. It's not the
Right.
case, folks." I mean, when you
Yes.
investigate, it's 8 to 10 hours, sometimes 12 hours. It's not and then they chime all that down to, "Uh-oh. Oh, boy, we just lost them." Oh, there we are. We're back.
Sorry about that.
That's
Got a
alright.
phone call.
Ah,
We got a
absolutely.
phone call.
But it's like, like, people are so dead against, like, "Oh, well, you come to my house, it'll be done in an hour, right?" No.
No,
No.
not always. Sometimes you can figure things out before you even get there just by talking to the people. And,
Yep.
there are a lot of times that we do try and problem solve before we make the trip out.
Hmm.
But we like to typically stay in our area. I know some teams that are very hungry for privates, they'll travel all over. In that case, we usually try and find their local paranormal team and work with them, getting, making sure that the family gets help. But, typically, we have a radius that we kind of try and adhere to. Maybe, we were going to go to Milwaukee. We've done Green Bay, Wapaka, Manitowoc. We're in Stockbridge, so that's a good hour or two. I think that's good.
Yeah. And that's the same thing too. It's like my wife and I were talking about that too. So we're trying to find more stuff around Wisconsin to do. Because a lot of times we get invited to go to Iowa for a lot of stuff. And Milwaukee has the Brumner Mansion is the one I want to get to.
Sure.
And which is actually down the street. Oh. All right. See you later, Marshall. See you in a little bit. The Brumner Mansion, like I said, she goes to college down in Marquette. So I'm like, hey, I'm gonna take a walk at the Brumner Mansion, see if I can get a date in there or something. So I don't know. We'll see.
Sounds
But
like fun.
yeah, Milwaukee's crazy. I mean, it's unbelievably crazy. But
Yeah, some places aren't the safest. We
right.
did a place called the Rock Island YMCA in Illinois. And when we were outside getting our equipment out of our cars, we heard gunshots in the neighborhood. I
Oh,
mean, you go to even at Eloise Asylum in Michigan, that was one of the most expensive places we've ever been. I think it was $1,800 for the team to go, which is by far the most expensive place we've ever gone to. And we heard gunshots in that neighborhood too. So you go to some sketchy places.
absolutely, absolutely. And that's just one of those things that too is like, tell her if we go to one, really treat ourselves to one expensive place out of the year, I'm okay with that.
Sure. Yeah.
But we're all young yet. We can all still get these big locations that you see on TV. They're not going anywhere.
Absolutely. In time, it happens.
Right, right. I mean, I'm happy if I just go to 7 locations this year.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
so with that, I thank you and Heather. Oh, I must have got another phone call. I'll just wait for a second here.
Sorry, our person keeps trying to call.
Ah,
Get it.
that's all right. So Heather and Greg, I thank you guys for being on here tonight. It was such a fun time, even though we had a split disconnection there, but I got over it pretty fast.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna definitely have you on again.
We'd love to.
Love to.
Talk about
Thanks
the
for having
location.
us.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so for those of you, like I said, if you have not known yet that this is Wendigo Paranormal, and look them up, give them a holler, go join them on investigations. It's a lot of fun. So,
We would look forward to meeting everybody, and we will see you on the next one.
absolutely. So with that, that's Heather and Greg. I'm Darren, and I bid you adieu. So
Good
long.
night.
So long.
So long, everybody.